Okay, so the idea is to make the cheapest possible climbing hold, or should I say first mold for climbing hold and then a climbing hold. So I will be using this is a florist sponge. There are two types as far as I know. The one for wet flowers and one for dry flowers. Wet flowers, I mean fresh flowers. This one is for fresh flowers. It's usually like this big, at least double the size of this. The thing to have in mind is that this is very soft. I don't know if I press it gently, you see I left a dent. It's very soft, so when you're modeling your hold, you should have in mind that you have to hold it very gently in your hand when shaping to not to damage its appearance, of course. So this is for the sponge. We'll be also using just plain silicone and a knife. Okay, so I really don't have a good idea what I want to do right now. So besides that, it's not that important anyway. So I'm just gonna roughly draw what I want to get, and now I'm gonna shape it with the knife. I'm gonna leave I'm doing this for a wall for me and my kid. She's 4, so obviously I want to keep the holes bigger, so to have a more secure grip. So I will leave the thickness, and then if need be I will reduce the thickness of the hole. Okay, so let's start cutting. Okay, I want to make, if this is a hole and this is a wall, I want to make this part with an angle, so it's more secure to grab with the fingers. So I will cut at an angle, and also on the sides as well. Okay, now I want to cut this edge, and perhaps for no reason make something like this. And good thing about this foam, sponge, whatever, is that, which is also a bad thing, like I said, it's very soft. But since it's very soft, you can shape it literally with your hands. And as you can see, these rough edges, if I move my fingers across, you can smooth that out. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so this, let's say I'm not satisfied. This can be used as either a pinch grip or like this. Okay, so let's say that this is it. Now we need to make a hole for the bolt, and I'm thinking maybe another one here for the screw. Okay, so I'm using a 9mm drill bit for M8 bolt. Okay, that didn't go all the way, so I'm gonna finish it by hand since the foam is so soft. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna go with a smaller drill bit here for the screw, perhaps 6mm. Again, it didn't go all the way. Okay, that's it. Now I need to widen this hole for the head of the bolt. I'm using a 18mm drill bit that I flattened on the top, on the tip, so that I will show you that later. The washer in the hole will be on top. Okay, I also want to taper this smaller hole for the screw. Okay, so after drilling the holes, I want to make all of these edges softer, so to avoid any damage in case of falling or losing the grip of the hold. I'm just going to gently use my finger, and since the foam is so soft, it will smooth out nicely. Well, that looks pretty good. So now we can start making a silicone part of the mold. Okay, so you need to get yourself something flat, smooth, where you will put your hold onto and then apply the silicone around to make some sort of a silicone shell, let's say. Okay, so after putting it in the middle of your board, we can start applying the silicone right from the tube. What's important to know about this regular silicone is that it dries on air. So you shouldn't make it too thick, the shell of your mold, because it will take a really long time to dry. So rather you should make one and then another hand later when this one is dry. So now you take one of these, you just get it wet and try to smooth out the silicone. Now, I didn't fill this hole because this would make it too thick. The silicone would be too thick, and it would take a long time to cure. Okay, so this is basically it. I will leave this to cure until tomorrow, and then I will fill up this hole to the top and perhaps do another layer of silicone around. I also have here one mold I made yesterday, and I will try to remove it from the foam. Depending on your design, on your shape, this will either be easier or harder to do. Okay. I will try. Okay, there it is. And this is what you get. You need to clean it out a little bit, clean it up. Okay, and this is it. Okay, one thing I mentioned earlier, and I want to show you now, why where is it? It's here. Why I sanded the top of this drill bit. Well, this one is done that way, and let me get a washer. Okay, this is a mold I made a while back, and it was done when the top of this drill bit was on, and the problem was that, as you can see, this part is tapered because of the top of the drill bit. And when you put on the washer, well, when you pour epoxy, there will be epoxy here. So it means that when you put, this is where the bolt will go, the head of the bolt. And when you pour epoxy, the epoxy will fill this space here, and then the head of the bolt will not be pressing against the washer, but against a layer of resin. This may be a problem, may not be a problem, but this is an easy way to handle that problem, because as you can see, this is perfectly flat, and when you put the washer on, there is no space between the washer and the head of the bolt. I also have a couple of molds here, like these two, where this center part it did not dry because it was too thick, I guess, or I was too impatient to wait. And well, this is not really a problem, because we can always drill the hole for the bolt later. But I found out that you can also use straws from IKEA, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna insert, because it exactly fits the size of the M8 bolt. I'm going to fit them in the holes, try to make them perpendicular. Okay, I need to add the washers. Obviously there is one in here already. It's already pulled in, poured over. Okay, press it down. And another one on this one. Okay, so now we can mix the epoxy. Obviously the budget version would be to use the polyester resin, but polyester smells so bad. I'm sure it's toxic, whether cured or uncured. So we'll be using a more expensive epoxy resin, which has absolutely no smell. Try to use a cup with some kind of measurements on it. This is mixed in a ratio 2:1. So okay. I will also use filler. This is a microfiber filler. It's also mixed in 2:1 ratio. Sorry. It's also used mixed in 2:1 ratio, and it's also reinforces the epoxy. So I will add the filler. Okay. And now, okay, another thing, but I will do this later. I will also add some orange paint. I'll first add the hardener. I think that's it. Okay, now that the hardener is in, we need to mix it well. Make sure to, well, always wear gloves, but make sure to scrape the sides and the bottom of the cup and mix it all well. At this point I will add a bit of this orange color paint. Okay, this should do, and mix well. Okay, now that the epoxy is mixed well, as you can see, I guess I can start pouring. I think this will be enough for this one. This is also another one I made earlier, and after pouring, this is what came out. Obviously, it doesn't look very nice because some of the florist foam will silicone will adhere to it, and it will pull off a thin layer of foam. So and this is the green stuff in this mold, and after pouring the epoxy again, the epoxy will take some of it on itself. But I don't see why this shouldn't be painted, and I think this is exactly what I'm gonna do. The idea behind this one is this is a very big hold for my little girl, and again there is an underhold here which will be quite nice for me, I think.